Bien, adieu.
So this place brings back a lot of memories for me. 2 years ago, I think we did a pop-up here, trying to. Yeah, 2 years ago we did a pop-up here called Nong, where we were trying to draw attention to underutilized space on the rooftop, hoping to set up Asia's biggest rooftop farm on top of a car park. But now we handed the baton over to the park, so they have the responsibility to turn this into a farm for the future. So I wanted to share a little bit about what we do. I got quite a bit of slides, but I'll jump through them quite fast. A little bit about my story, how I became an urban farmer. I spent 7 years in digital marketing, working for big corporate brands. And this work has brought me all around the world. I was based in London for a while. And during that time in London, one of the winters, I got a bit down and a bit depressed. I didn't know why that was. And then, it just came to a point that I realized that, perhaps that was a seasonal affective disorder. And I thought I wanted to change my life and see if I could find a more sustainable way of living. So there was a few things I looked at. Power, if I could generate my own electricity, if I could grow my own food, or, if I could make enough money to, because everything is economic and money, right? So I looked at food because I didn't know how to grow food, and that was never a topic that was quite prevalent in Singapore. Growing up here, it was all about being a scientist, being a lawyer or engineer. Farming and agriculture was not important at all. So I left corporate and I spent the next 5 years working on farms through Woofing program, if you heard of it, or HelpX. Worked on farms in exchange for food and lodging. That's where I kind of realized that, hey, this is what I want to do for the future. So I went to agricultural college, biodynamic agriculture. I worked a lot with animals, and actually at that point of time, me and my wife, we decided that we wanted to stay in Wales to start a farm. But I had this lingering thing that I wanted to come back to Singapore to do something in terms of agriculture, because there's not many people pushing that part of the market. So when I came back to Singapore, I obviously went to the countryside, which is at Kranji, to look for land to grow food, right? I mean, so I looked, and you have to be a millionaire to be a farmer in Singapore if you're going to bid for land in Kranji, because you need to pay 30 years upfront lease to be able to farm. So I had not much, I spent most of my money traveling, working on farms, and so I was a bit disheartened. But when I started walking in urban Singapore, there were a lot of spaces around, green fields, empty plots, and then I chanced upon a restaurant called Artichokes. And the guy's name was Bjorn as well, Bjorn Shen. And the two Bjorns came together and started thinking, because he was trying to grow some herbs for his restaurant. He was getting nowhere because nothing germinated. So I sat down with him, he had a bit of space, and we started. We got a garden going. And today, our business has grown into, social enterprise business has grown into 4 different verticals. So we do foodscaping. We design and build edible gardens for hotels, restaurants, schools, and things like that. We're looking into food production, larger scale food production, and we have consumer brand, and we also have education as well. So we work with schools. We have full-fledged curriculum for schools as well on farming. And this was day one when we started. We thought people live in high-rises in Singapore a lot of the time. So let's put herbs in a high-rise, but let's put them in a wooden box because it looks better. And this has sort of guided our principle on how we do foodscaping in Singapore, aesthetically as well. And we have done multiple stuff, permaculture-inspired gardens. We've transformed people's lawn into a productive food garden, done it for schools, rooftop bars, hotels like Fairmont Hotel and Marina Bay Sands, National Design Center, National Museum as well, but it's no longer there because it didn't last very long. Yeah, there are termites. So, we have progress, and this was what we started last year on the Raffles City rooftop. It's a 10,000 square feet rooftop garden that we converted into a farm. And we grew things like calendula, which is not really heard of in Singapore. We tried different things like echinacea, things that people would not have thought would have grown in Singapore. We have managed to do it. And we have taken these herbs, we have dried them, we are making products out of them, creams, calendula creams, massage oils, essential oils that we distill as well. So this is one part of the things that we're doing. We have the Whale-Lock Rooftop Farm. The story behind the Whale-Lock Rooftop Farm, it's been there for 15 years as a building. The garden has always been there, but the garden is never open to anyone to access because they're scared people would commit suicide or go up and smoke. So it's always closed and defeats then the purpose of a garden. Yeah, defeats the purpose of a garden. So we went in, we spoke to them, we took the space, we converted part of it into a fruit production space. And today, is ongoing, is productive, and we grow the produce for Tippling Club for Chef Ryan Cliff. And this was our latest project last year, Open Farm Community, again, a collaboration with Sparsby Group and Chef Ryan Cliff. We wanted to, the farm-to-table thing has been going on for a while. People, this global push for farm-to-table. But the space that we had when we started at Minden Road, which is at Dempsey, was not big enough to do a farm-to-table concept. So what we wanted to do was really to grow people's relationship with food. So have a thriving herb garden that is used by the restaurant, so that people that come dining can see that it's actually possible to grow food in their spaces as well. It is a very different agenda. And now the garden is way, way lusher than what you see here, because this was during setup, and it's only year one of development. So we have many, many years to go to make it a productive space. Open Farm Community is called a community because if you want to learn about gardening, you can come on a Friday morning, free to attend community garden where you will learn planting skills and growing in the tropics, and you can take something home. It's free to attend for anyone from any part of Singapore or the world. So within the last 4 years, we have built a decent amount of gardens. We have gotten a lot of press coverage and things like that, which was all very encouraging. And we've done great things in the F&B industry with Chef Ryan Cliff and Dave Pine from Burnants, just pushing the envelope of what's possible to be grown here and then to be applied to the dishes. And I think all the glitz and the glamour was great, and I think we got to a point where there was this day, this is at Open Farm Community, if you sit down and have a meal inside, you can look out at the farmer working on the field. And I was working on that field, and I was looking at people looking at me, and I felt like I was in a zoo, right? And somehow what we did in the last 2 years of expansion was to only reach out to a certain social class of people that are able to afford dishes like that at places like that. So we started to think back, I started to reflect and say that perhaps we are going the wrong track. We have gotten that far and we are sort of not fulfilling our mission as a social enterprise. And so we came up with a concept called Citizen Farmer. We want to make farming and urban farming accessible to everyone in Singapore, no matter your background, no matter how little space you have, no matter if you have a disability, a mental one, a physical one, you can become an urban farmer. So this comes in 4 or 5 prongs and verticals. And the first one is the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. farm. I guess a lot of us spend a lot of time in the office. And if you do want to grow your own food or do a bit of gardening, you do it on the weekends. And when you go home to check on your plants, it's kind of dark. You can't see anything and you're meddling in the dark. But how about let's bring the farm into the office? The office is the largest underutilized space after 5 p.m., unless you have to work late, and things like that. So let's bring the farm into the office, And we have piloted and tested this model of desktop farmer. You can grow tomatoes on your desktop, using things that we have tested out. And you can sit by your computer and look at it every day while you're at work, pollinate the flowers and things like that. No home is too small. I think a lot of us in Singapore have challenges with small homes and apartments, no balcony, no sunlight. And this is kind of more or less the problem. But how about wall spaces? This is at Rowell Road, where we did the last pop-up called Growell, where we did indoor farming. And what we did was not to use expensive solutions to build the indoor farm. We went to Jalan Besar, behind Little India. We bought some shelves, and we bought some fluorescent lights from the light vendors there. And we put together a system very, very simply and very cheaply. And so you can do this at home. What about a farm in your dining room, just like that? Or a dinner party, in a farm, in your house. So leaving no one behind is about training and employment for marginalized groups. So we are training autistic adults now to become indoor urban farmers. And this project is ongoing with Autism Resource Center at the Enabling Village. And we hope that in the future, we are able to employ a large group of them. And we're also working on coffee waste to mushroom. We have done oyster mushrooms, lion manes, and within this process, we have done training Down syndrome adults to actually help us with the bagging and substrate bagging job. We're working with marginalized elderlies at York Hill to help us called Akong Farm, empowering them to actually do farming, and then with a hope of employing them into our workforce. And seeing the future, we have done many schools, Rooftops, Montfort, Westview, SGI, Pathlight, SMU, National University. So I think what we want to do is redefine what urban farms are to the city. And within urban farms, it's not just about food growing. You can support communities. You can foster communities. You can give employment to people with disabilities. And you can talk about all these subjects, which we have done at the Growell Pop-Up. So farming is just not about food growing. And in our new home, Q4 this year, is Jalan Penjara in Queenstown. And thanks to the support of RAISE, we are able to set up an indoor farm that's large enough that we can employ up to 20 people with disabilities working in the farm. There will be an office in the farm concept. There will be a cooperative and a community-supported agriculture program. So I hope you guys can follow us on this journey, and if you like to participate in this journey with us as well. Thank you.
Bien, adieu.